So there's my cousin Mark. The two of us are leaving Dove Springs. We're going to head over to the El Paso Mountains and do some exploring for the day. So it's been a couple of years since Mark's been on the ATV, but he's got good speed and seems comfortable, so it should be a fun day. So we're just coming up to the exit here of Dove Springs. We're going to cross Highway 14 here, turn left and take Sierra View Road. It's about 5 to 7 miles till we get to Hart's Road. We'll head over to the Holly Mine. So we're entering Red Rock Canyon State Park. We'll be here for a couple miles and then leave it again and enter the El Pasos. The first right turn you can make will drop you down into Opal Canyon. The second one will take you to that ridge you can see in the distance on the right. It's a dead end, but it's a nice overlook. The third one will take you into the old Dutch Cleanser Mine, which unfortunately has been closed and sealed in, so there's really not much to see there. And then the next right turn will actually take you into the backcountry, and you can actually drop down into Last Chance Canyon, which is a lot of fun. We're going to show Mark the old Dutch Cleanser Mine, and then we're going to come back and head over to Hart's Road. So here's Mark coming back from the old Dutch Cleanser Mine. He's making a right back on Sierra View Road. We're going to go right down, only another mile or so to Hart's Road, turn right, and then we'll enter the debris area here. You can see the mines are against that mountain in the background. And this is a bunch of mining debris that was left here from the original mining days. Since Mark doesn't know exactly where he's going here, I'm going to go ahead and take the lead and head over these two little hills, and then you'll be able to see the mine straight ahead. So this is a series of mines. They don't go back more than maybe 30, 50 feet at the most. A couple of them connect, but most of them are individual tunnels. It's a nice destination place to stop, get out of the sun, maybe have a drink. Sometimes we stop here for lunch, depending on the time of day. So we're going to stop here and take a little break, and then we're going to head over to the Bonanza Trail. So we've left the mine, we're crossing the debris field again, and the Bonanza Trail is pretty much straight ahead towards that mountain ridge. We're going to cross Hart's Road, which is now EP15. That's the main thoroughfare through the El Pasos. You can see this sign on the right. If we made a right and went down that trail, we'd go to the Bickle camp and to Burro Schmidt mine, which we'll visit later on the trip from a different direction. Right now we're just going to start on the Bonanza Trail, let Mark lead for a while. It's a pretty simple trail. It's flat up at the top here, and there's just a little bit of a downhill that heads down to the Bonanza Post Office, which is our next destination. So we're getting ready to start this rocky downhill. See how Mark does. If you look way off in the distance on the right of the screen there, you might get a glimpse of the post office way out there. We're ready here to take a left turn. Mark and I both have radios on, so we're able to communicate. And we also have GPSs, which I've set a route on. So we're actually seeing how well Mark can follow the arrow on the GPS. He doesn't have a lot of experience doing that, but he's doing fine so far. So So we're going to head over here and just take a quick look at the old post office, and then we'll head down a canyon that'll take us back to EP15. So we're leaving the post office. The GPS arrow is swung way to the right, so Mark's a little confused here because the trail is just a little bit in front of us, but he'll see it. It's going to take us down this initially a rocky downhill and then into a sand wash, a narrow sand wash, and then it widens out. It's actually 3 or 4 houses. People live actually in this canyon, but this is a real fun trail. It's going to take us back down to EP15 at the bottom. See how fun this little sand wash is. It's just a blast. You can really get your speed up and take off down through here, and then it widens out here. It's a little rocky, but the quads are high enough you can pretty much go over all the rocks in this wash. See a homestead over there to the right. We're just about halfway down this sand wash, and we're going to make a left-hand turn at the bottom and pass Bickle Camp and head over to Colorado Camp. So we left this sand wash, we turned left in EP15. We did spend a little bit of time at Bickle Camp. We talked to some motorcycle riders, and this is Colorado Camp, where we stopped again for a little water break, and Mark was taking a look at a big lizard. We headed out of there. We follow EP15 here, and everything on the left is pretty much El Paso wilderness. We're going to take the first left trail, which is EP26, that borders that wilderness, and it's a pretty rocky Jeep trail. It's got a lot of uphills, a lot of nasty downhills. I'd rate it as sort of upper intermediate. But it's a lot of fun. We'll see how Mark does. So here's sort of just the first little uphill entering the rocky part of EP26. This goes on for miles and miles and miles, just like this, just uphills, downhills, downhills. But it's interesting terrain. It's a little rocky, but it breaks up the monotony of just the flat Jeep trails. Section here, sometimes it's a little hard to see the trail. It's pretty flat and everything's rocky, so you've got to look carefully to make sure that you're taking the right route back down the hill. You can see I was off a little bit, and now I think I'm back on the trail, and it becomes more defined right up here. And we'll head out. You can see how big the desert is. There's a lot of room to ride out here, which is sort of why I like it. There's dozens of trails that go off in every direction, so you'll never get bored. stop every once in a while, look behind me, and Mark's doing really well. He's not far behind at all, so I'll try to keep the pace a little slower just so we don't lose each other. I did let him get ahead here, and again, sort of test his ability to not only ride on this tougher terrain, but also follow the GPS arrow, see if he can take us to our lunch stop. So we're just about down the mountain here. We're going to make a left turn into a sand wash, and we're probably 2 or 3 miles from the lunch destination. I went ahead and took the lead again since he hasn't been in this part of the terrain ever before, and the GPS starts to turn a little bit before the trails, so it's a little confusing to follow the arrow, so it's easier for me just to go by memory. So you can see those willow trees up front there. Right below them are a couple picnic tables. Not sure how they got there, but makes for a good lunch destination depending on what time of day you get here. There's also some shade under there. So we're just going to swing around here, stop for lunch, maybe rehydrate, and then we'll head back out on the trail. And here comes Mark. So we finished our lunch. We had a couple bottles of water, got rehydrated. We're going to drop into this sand wash. This goes for about 15 miles through the Narrows all the way out to Rand's Mojave Road. We're going to probably go about half that distance and then drop out back onto EP15, head back over to Colorado Camp. This is a narrow sand wash in some places. It's wide in some places. It's got lots of boulders. It's actually a lot of fun. Has a couple little drop-offs. Once we get to a flatter area with no more exits, I'm going to let Mark lead, and I'll take some good video of him. Okay, Mark's turn to take the lead. I'll stay as close as I can behind him so I get some good shots of him. We're going to go probably about another 4 miles in the sand wash before we jump out on EP15. But some interesting parts up here. Should be kind of a lot of fun to watch Mark traverse over some of these drop-offs and some of these larger boulders. Here's one right now. I've already gone over it and circled around back just to sort of get a view of him, but I think he's going to go ahead and take the little side trail around, so he's going to back up and then meet me on the other side here. Okay, we're back in the sand wash. See if I can get up closer to Mark so we can get out of his dust. See how he does here over some of these rocks. And I think we've got a couple more little drop-offs. We'll see if he goes over those this time instead of around them. But he's doing really well. Okay, Mark's doing really well here. GPS is actually pointed to the nearest waypoints, and there's actually a couple of them up on the hill to the right that cause the arrow to swing around, so it's getting a little confusing, so I'm going to go ahead and take the lead since I know where the exit is here. There is a nice little ledge to drop off here, so I'm going to go ahead and see if I can get a picture of Mark coming down this. Looks worse than it is, but looks like he's doing real well. And there he goes. So give him the lead again. One more drop off before we jump out. Okay, here comes this little drop here. After this, there actually is one more. It's right up here around this bend. We'll see how he does, and then we'll be exiting the sand wash and headed up towards Holland Camp. Well, he did okay. He actually sort of ran right into that little ledge on the right, but other than that, we went right down it. So we exited the sand wash in EP15 and then took some dirt roads over to Holland Camp, which is like a little stable. I'm not sure why I didn't have the video on, but I didn't. So now we've left Holland Camp and we're going through back on EP15 through this canyon, and this is going to take us back right past Holland Camp. And our next destination is the Walsh cabin, which is at about 4,400 feet on top of one of the tallest peaks here in the El Pasos. So this is EP204. This is the turnoff to take you up to the Walsh cabin. We came out of that canyon back that we were in previously. We passed Colorado Camp, took EP100, and then we turned right here on EP204. This is going to take us all the way to the top of the mountain. It's a reasonably easy Jeep trail. It's the bottom part is sort of flat. The middle part is got a couple steep climbs, and then the upper part is flat again. So you can see some of the climbs up here in the distance. Pretty much going up, if you take every left turn, the road breaks. It's the easier route. And the right turns will get you to the same place, just a little bit harder. And on the way down, you just reverse that. It's just sort of intermediate, upper intermediate at the most, just because of this couple steep uphills. But a lot of fun, and the cabin's got some great views. slowing down, make sure Mark has made up all these little uphill climbs. We've got, I think, 2 more uphills and then we're done. I'll let Mark take the lead and I'll follow him over to the canyon. Okay, we pretty much made it to the top. We're just going to traverse across the top. There's a fire actually this weekend over in the Santa Clarita area, and the wind is blowing towards Mojave. So unfortunately, the view up here is not going to be very good today. You can really smell the smoke. That's Keene Dry Lake down there in the distance. We'll actually get a better view of it when the road turns a little bit to the right up here. It's unfortunate because it's actually beautiful on a clear day up here. And you can see the Walsh cabin up there on the left. And that's our destination for a short break. Have a little bit of water, and then we're going to head back towards the truck. So we went back down 204, turned left on EP 100, turned left on EP 15, and now we're approaching the Burro Schmidt mine. This is Burro Schmidt's house, not much left to it. And then right over this little hill is the actual mine. Usually when you're riding the El Pasos, you can ride all day without seeing anybody, but there's a good chance you'll always see people at the mine. It's a destination for people, and you can actually get here even in a 2-wheel drive car on some of the dirt roads. But definitely a lot of 4x4s and motorcycles and ATVs make this a spot. You can actually walk all the way through the mine. It's a half a mile. So it goes out the other side of the mountain, and you can come back on top of the mountain. You can see there's quite a few folks here. Lots of vehicles, but there wasn't a single person outside, so everybody was in the mine. So we stopped. We had a little bit of water there, and now we're actually headed. We're at about 55 miles for the day right now. So we're headed back down to Last Chance Canyon. We're going to traverse some of the sand washes and the trail alongside the sand washes, and then head back on to Hart's Road, head over to Sierra View Road, cross Highway 14, and head back to the truck. So this little sand wash / dirt road down into Last Chance Canyon is just a blast. I mean, you can fly on this thing. You can probably do 40 to 50 miles an hour. It's flat. It's soft. You get down to the bottom, it gets rocky again, but there's probably a couple mile stretch there that is just a blast. And as you get closer to Red Rock Canyon State Park, you can see the terrain turns differently. You can see the red mountains. Even the dirt starts to change color, so we've actually entered the park again, and we'll stay in here until we climb out of Last Chance Canyon, and then we'll be pretty much wide dirt roads the rest of the way home. You see Last Chance Canyon down there on the left. We're actually going to follow it north. Once we drop down into it, if you turn left, go south, it'll take you all the way out to Rans Mojave Road again. It's really rocky and beautiful down there, but once you get to Rans Mojave Road, it's pretty much a dead end unless you turn left again on EP 107, which is a very, very long, very steep climb up the ridge all the way back up towards Burro Schmidt mine. So we're going to turn right here, and we're going to follow the canyon for a while, and there'll actually be a sort of a granite cliff climb out, and then we'll head back towards EP 15. This area on the right here is known as Cudahy Camp. There's actually a mine a little bit further back on the right. We're going to continue. You can see here we're crossing the wash actually several times, and you can look up here. It's going to dead end, and you're going to be forced to climb up this little granite climb right up here on the left, which looks a little intimidating, but really isn't bad at all. You can see I'm going to go first and then swing around, see if I can get a video of Mark coming up. Now we're about the middle of Last Chance Canyon. This is sort of the end of the middle, and this is the beginning of Upper Last Chance Canyon. So there's Mark down there, We are talking on the radios, give him a little bit of an idea of which track to make coming up, but he should do fine. Here he comes. Got a little bit there too far to the right, but he recovered well and made the climb no problem. So now we're going to head back up Last Chance Canyon, the upper part of it. We'll follow these canyon walls, and there'll be a big sign that says Highway 14 to the left, and we'll take that. We'll be on the last 10 miles or so of our trip. We'll let Mark lead for a little bit here, and I'll just tell him when the left turn is coming up. That way, most of the day he's been swallowing my dust, so it's sort of nice to get out front and not have to deal with all the dust in your face. So all in all, this trip ended up being about 65 miles. I'd say Mark, since he hasn't ridden for more than a couple of years, did really, really well. We're going to jump out of the Last Chance Canyon here in just a mile or two, and I'm not going to video EP15, Harch Road, or Sierra View Road. You've already seen that on the way in. But we had a great day. I think maybe a little tiring for Mark, but overall he did real great, and hopefully he'll come ride with us again.